Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopidana Vallabha Girivarathari. Jaya Gopidana Vallabha Girivarathari. Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Banachare. Yamuna Tira Banachare. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Madan Mohan Radhe. Jaya Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Madan Mohan, Radhe Radhe. Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hare Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gaura Hari Bo. Nitai Gaur Premanande, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Yagi Ki Jai. Divine Grace Bhakti Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Vartmana Guru Vrinda Ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. So thank you all for coming on time. So we'll start by offering our prayers to the spiritual masters, Vaishnavas, and the Supreme Lord, and then we'll read from Bhagavad Gita. And today we have a special topic, a little bit unusual topic, and that is spiritual entrepreneurship, which appears to be a bit controversial, but actually it's not, and we'll explain why. I will also need a copy of Bhagavad Gita. Om Agyantimirandasya Ginandana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijanam Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radhakanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhano Satadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Bhutai Mahat Prema Puro Vibhur Nirmaya Kshateya Damushagurusha Bhungte Gunan Sudasa Sadasatmaka Yalankrishishta Bhagavan Vachamsi Me. Hare Krishna. So we will read the interesting text today, which Srila Prabhupada was often referring to from Bhagavad Gita. This is chapter 11, text 33, very easy to remember, 1133. Chapter 11 is called Vishwarup Darshan Yoga, the universal form. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we have text on the screen. If you could please chant responsively. Tasmat vamutishta yasholabasva. Tasmat vamutishta yasholabasva. Jitva shatrun bhunkshva rajam samridham. Jitva shatrun bhunkshva rajam samridham. Maya vaite nihata purvameva. Maya vaite nihata purvameva. Nimittamatram bhavasavya sachin. Nimittamatram bhavasavya sachin. Tasmatvamutishta yasholabasva. Jitva shatrun bhunkshva rajam samridam. Maya vaiteni hata purvameva. Nimittamatram bhavasavya sachin. So translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. And before we read, I suggest that we have a little bit of meditation in here, because Srila Prabhupada explained many times that Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita not only for Arjuna, but for all of us too, right? And so just imagine that Krishna is speaking to you directly with this verse, and then see how that makes you feel. Therefore, get up, prepare to fight, and be in glory. Conquer your enemies and enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by my arrangement, and you, O Sabyasachi, can be but an instrument in the fight. Purport. Savyasachin refers to one who can shoot arrows very expertly in the field. Thus, Arjuna is addressed as an expert warrior capable of delivering arrows to kill his enemies. Just become an instrument, nimitta matram. This word is also very significant. The whole world is moving according to the plan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Foolish persons who do not have sufficient knowledge think that nature is moving without a plan, and all manifestations are but accidental formations. There are many so-called scientists who suggest that perhaps it was like this or maybe like that, but there is no question of perhaps and maybe. There is a specific plan being carried out in this material world. What is this plan? This cosmic manifestation is a chance for the conditioned souls to go back to Godhead, back to home, as long as they have the domineering mentality, which makes them try to lord it over material nature. They are conditioned. But anyone who can understand the plan of the Supreme Lord and cultivate Krishna consciousness is most intelligent. The creation and destruction of the cosmic manifestations are under the superior guidance of God. Thus the battle of Kurukshetra was fought according to the plan of God. Arjuna was refusing to fight, but he was told that he should fight in accordance with the desire of the Supreme Lord. Then he would be happy. If one is in full Krishna consciousness and his life is devoted to the Lord's transcendental service, he is perfect. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Tasmat tvam utishta yasholabasva jitva shatrung bhunkshvarajam samridham Mayavate nihata purvam eva nimittamatram bhava savya sachin. Therefore get up, prepare to fight and win glory. Conquer your enemies and enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by my arrangement, and you, O Sabyasachi, can be but an instrument in the fight. So let me ask you this question. How many of you would feel a little bit strange if Krishna would tell you directly these things? Yeah, anyone? Yeah. Why? Because as Vaishnavas, we don't want anything in common with material world, right? Sense gratification, three things, right? Wealth, power, and fame, which is the ultimate game. So, as Vaishnavas, we're not interested in that, right? And so Arjuna, being a Vaishnava, an eternal associate of the Lord, right in the very beginning of Bhagavad Gita, told Krishna very clearly, Kim narajena govinda, kim bhoga jivitena va. I am not interested in kingdom and in sense gratification, right? If this would come at the price of killing my relatives and even teachers, right? So he was very reluctant to go for wealth, to go for power, to go for fame. But then, after speaking so many things, here Krishna tells him directly, no, I want you to have wealth, I want you to have power, I want you to have fame. Why? Very simple thing, that materialistic people, they strive for these things and they misuse and abuse all these things, right? And they damage themselves and they damage others in the process. But actually all these opulences belong to the Supreme Lord. And therefore they are meant for what? To be used in his service, right? And therefore Krishna wants his devotees to have all wealth, all power, and all fame. And even though for us, in the same way as for Arjuna, it's very difficult, because responsibility, it's heavy responsibility, and it can create problems. And therefore, we would rather avoid it, right? And so this is what Arjuna told he wants to do in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, but Krishna was very, very clear, no. You have to take the responsibility, and this is my desire, and this is my plan, and you just have to be an instrument in my hands. And so this is what is the message of Bhagavad Gita, and to make it very relevant for us, and to help you understand how we are expected to become Krishna conscious, we should look not only in this 5,000 years old message, but we should look in a very contemporary example of our founder Acharya, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, to understand what does it mean to act in Krishna consciousness, and what does it mean to serve the Lord. And so, the basis of that is, one interesting article which was sent to me by one of our GBC members and gurus and Prabhupada disciples in ISKCON, whom we've discussed those topics with, and he found one Christian article, and this article is on the topic of spiritual entrepreneurship, right? And spiritual entrepreneurship sounds like an oxymoron. Everyone knows what is oxymoron? Incompatible combination, like dry water or cold fire, something like that, right? And so spiritual entrepreneurship also sounds like that, like an oxymoron. Because spirituality is meant to be not for profit, right? And entrepreneurship is all about profit. So how can there be spiritual entrepreneurship? But then the author of the article, he's arguing that not only it can be, but this is the only model for successful missionary development, for successfully promoting God consciousness. And then he's arguing on the basis of Christianity. What really impressed me, actually shocked me, that obviously this man most probably never even heard of Srila Prabhupada, but every single point in that article, Spiritual Entrepreneurship, is describing Srila Prabhupada so amazingly. And I was thinking, it's amazing that this was the model. These were the secrets of success of our founder Acharya. And at some point, Srila Prabhupada said to his disciples, I want all of you to be like me. And they were saying, but Srila Prabhupada, you're pure devotee. How can we be like you? And Prabhupada got annoyed. He said, no, it's not about pure devotion. It's about following the example, following in the footsteps. And so not only it is possible, but actually it's my instruction. You should all become like me. And then he said, I'm just one man, and look how much I do. Just imagine all of you will become like me. Then how much more we can do, right? And so what does it mean to be like Srila Prabhupada? It's not about imitating him, imitating his way of speech. Sometimes devotees, they like to say, instead of yogurt, jogurt, or find out which verse of Bhagavad Gita we're going to speak on. So that's imitation, right? That's not following. Or in the very early stages of ISKCON, devotees used to dress like Srila Prabhupada. So basically speaking, everyone was dressing like sannyasi. Even though they were not, but they had no understanding. And that's okay. I mean, children, they tend to imitate parents, right? Without understanding much. But adults, they're not supposed to be imitators. Adults supposed to be intelligent followers. And so, yes, to be like Prabhupada means instead of imitating him, it is to understand what was his operational model, what was the system he followed, which enabled him to achieve success. And after reading this article, I realized this system is actually universal. And anyone who follows it, success is guaranteed. So let me see how many of you are interested in that, how many of you are interested in becoming successful in your personal spiritual practices as well as in missionary activities. Okay, so there are 12 signs of being spiritual entrepreneur. And of course, in line with spiritual entrepreneurship, we can understand that this was actually one very major reason Srila Prabhupada succeeded, whereas many of his god brothers failed, right? Even though Srila Prabhupada's birth, he was born in Vaishya family, which is not the topmost, right? But many of his god brothers, they were born in pure Brahmana and Vaishnava families, right? And he was a Grihastha. And most of his life he spent as grihastha, but they were sannyasis from early age, right? So they had, externally they had tons of advantages over Srila Prabhupada. But they failed to expand Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's mission in English-speaking world. But Prabhupada succeeded, right? Why? Because he was entrepreneur. You know, he was accomplished businessman. And Western world is business world. And unless and until you have entrepreneurial spirit, you'll be misfit in here, right? You will not know how to act within the system. And so, but because Srila Prabhupada had this entrepreneurial spirit in him, he knew how to run business. And so he incorporated ISKCON in 1966, right? It's a little funny to think of ISKCON as corporation, but it is spiritual corporation. And you see corporate traits, right? Certain standards and etc., many things. And yes, Srila Prabhupada was very practical, and this is what it takes in the Western world to make Krishna consciousness relevant for people. And so point number one, and the biggest point, literally biggest, for spiritual entrepreneur is to think big. Was Srila Prabhupada thinking big? Yes. He was thinking as big as it is as possible. And because he was thinking big, he scored big. And there are so many examples of his big thinking. But again, the first and foremost example of his big thinking, and very, very obvious example of his big thinking, is the very first purpose of ISKCON. And as I often say, first things first. So if you're ISKCON member, think about why the first purpose of ISKCON is first. And what is it? To systematically propagate spiritual knowledge to society at large and to educate all people, actually supposed to be peoples, in the techniques of spiritual life in order to check the imbalance of values in life and to achieve real unity and peace in the world. So this is what ISKCON is about. Can you think bigger than that? That really is global, right? And that is really super ambitious as it can get. And in fact, Srila Prabhupada said towards the end of his life, I only accomplished 50% of my mission because I gave you spiritual knowledge, I gave you spiritual practices. But what I didn't have enough time to do, that is to create social, spiritual structure in the world, which is technically called Varna Ashram, right? Because Varna means social, Ashram means spiritual. So that was his ambition, and this is what the first purpose of ISKCON is referring to, and he expected all of us, each and every one of us, to help him to accomplish that remaining 50% of his mission, right? So if we are to follow Srila Prabhupada, we're meant to take it very seriously. And second point, believe Krishna can, right? And in the article, the author is giving very interesting perspective on it. What does it entail, believing in the Lord? He maintains that it means to believe that you personally can be a powerful instrument in the hands of the Lord. Exactly what today's verse is talking about, right? Nimitta matra bhava savyasachin. Just become an instrument in the hands of the Lord. Let me see the show of hands. How many of you would love to become a powerful instrument in the Lord's hands? Ribo. So, and then he explains, very interesting point. He says, it's not only about the person. It's about circumstances. And he gives example of Jesus Christ, whom he says was also a very bright example of spiritual entrepreneur. Jesus Christ could not perform miracles when he was in his hometown. He could do nothing. But when he left his place and he went to the community in which people trusted him and believed in him, he started showing unbelievable miracles. He was walking on water. He fed 5,000 people with 2 or 3 loaves of bread, something like that. And he was, getting dead, come back to life, and all kinds of things. Can we think of example of Srila Prabhupada? That the same Srila Prabhupada, he was in India. Could he do much? No. Why? Because Indians were thinking, wow, Krishna, I know Krishna, Bhagavad Gita, I have Bhagavad Gita, I've read it so many times. He's saying the same thing my grandmother was saying. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in something Western, right? Something more advanced. And Srila Prabhupada was thinking, okay, you guys, I'll go to the West. You looking at the West, I'll go there. And so he went here. And the same Srila Prabhupada who could not do practically anything, even though he tried so hard, in India, when he came to the place where he was taken seriously, he started doing amazing things. He got fully empowered. So what is the lesson for us? Only be in the association of people who wishing you well and who support you, and stop worrying about anyone else. Just work with those people, right? Not necessarily you have to move somewhere, but move away from this empowering association and only focus on empowering association, right? And so this is what Srila Prabhupada's example is showing. Point number 3, see abundance and not scarcity, right? Srila Prabhupada, as we know, he came with 40 rupees, which is, I think, was equivalent of $7. And in very few years, he said, I had 40 crores of rupees. Massive financial success. And he was not even shy of talking about it. He said, we're spending so much every day. And because he was saying that in Kali Yuga, the only opulence still remaining is flowers. So we're showing Srila Prabhupada being very opulent here on this photo, literally covered with flowers. But yeah, how do we go about it? How do we see the abundance rather than scarcity? Again, it's connected to thinking big. Like when Srila Prabhupada's disciples were complaining to him, oh, Srila Prabhupada, we are struggling financially, we don't have money for this and that. And Srila Prabhupada was saying, what do you mean? You're in America. And America is, one of the wealthiest countries on the planet. And he said, in America, you just put your hand out of the window, and in a minute, some $100 bill will land at your hand, right? And many Prabhupada disciples are sharing that they struggled with that concept, right? But if you're Krishna conscious, you will see abundance, because Krishna has everything. Everything belongs to Krishna, right? And if you really focused on his service, why Krishna would not supply with everything and more than everything? And Shyamsundar Prabhu sharing one example from here, from San Francisco, when they started the center at 516 Frederick Street. They were struggling to pay the rent because, as you know, San Francisco is one of the most expensive places on the planet. And they were thinking what to do, and Srila Prabhupada was not here. Apparently, he was in India. And him and Malati, they were walking one, morning along the streets of San Francisco and being in a very depressed mood, thinking, where do we get the money and how do we pay the rent? And then suddenly he said the wind started blowing in our face, and they saw $100 bills flying in their face. And there was no one on the street. It was totally empty. And they had no idea where this money was coming from, but they were not thinking too much about it. So they started grabbing all these bills flying in there, and there were plenty of them. And they, in few minutes, they've collected enough to pay many months ahead of rent. So, and they've realized, what Srila Prabhupada was saying is all true, right? So just do something for Krishna. Do big, and you'll score big, and Krishna will give you big resources. And Srila Prabhupada is a very good example of that. But point number 4, think vision first, resources later. Because if you think of the resources and you will wait until resources will show up to have a big vision, the author says you will wait forever. It will never happen. So first you have to have powerful and compelling vision. And yesterday morning we mentioned that point, that the first and foremost thing which inspires people to follow any leader is clarity of vision. And so Prabhupada was very, very clear about his vision. He envisioned worldwide spread of Krishna consciousness, global Sankirtan movement, and he envisioned himself as the world Acharya. And because he had this vision so crystal clear in his mind, it actually happened in reality, amazingly enough. Point number 5, invest in your team. And author explains that every successful spiritual entrepreneur is always into investments in people. And he says at least 10% has to be invested into people. Because your people are doing things for you, and so if you're not investing in them, it's not going to work. And when we see Srila Prabhupada's example, he was investing not 10, not 50, he was investing more than 100% into devotees. Like very early days in New York, Srila Prabhupada was actually selling his own books. And with that little money, he was buying products and cooking personally, and personally serving everyone, and even cleaning after everyone. So he was investing more money than he had, and he was investing his full time and energy into the devotees. And you can ask any Prabhupada disciple, because he had that attitude of caring and investing into devotees. That's why everyone loved him so much, right? Like one time someone asked Srila Prabhupada, how come that everybody loves you? Prabhupada said, because I love everyone. That's the reason. And so this is the one very clear proof of love, that you actually do something, invest in people, right? You, instead of just, using them to make you successful, make them successful and have successful team to work with. And this is what Srila Prabhupada did. And this is one example, investing into the future generation. And he was giving much more than just few cookies. Even though the cookies Prabhupada gave, that was one of the biggest highlights in those devotees' lives. And the next point, is it point number 6? Legacy. It says that there are 4 most important L's in your life, 4 words which start with L, we need to be focused on. First one is to live as opposed to exist. So many people just exist, they don't really live full life. Second one is learn, and we know that Vaishnavas supposed to be Brahmanas, supposed to be learning and teaching all life long. Third, love. Love Krishna, love others, right? And fourth, and the biggest one, is legacy. Leave legacy. And I think it is very important that if you want to succeed in your mission, whatever you're taking up, your mission has to be bigger than you. Your mission has to extend above and beyond your timeline, right? Again, thinking big, right? And Srila Prabhupada was not focusing on himself. He was focusing on his legacy. And of course, his mission was bigger than him because it was not about him. It was all about Krishna, right? And about devotional service. And you can see here, Srila Prabhupada, spiritual master, Acharya, founder, Acharya of ISKCON, pure devotee. He doesn't even care that he's sitting on the same level with his disciples, and even one disciple is sitting higher than him. For him, it's completely irrelevant. What is relevant is what in front on the table. That is an example of his legacy, right? Knowledge, spiritual knowledge he gave. And he left behind so much of legacy, right? Much more than few books. What else he left behind? Temples, 108 temples. Trained followers, disciples, culture of Krishna consciousness, and so many other things. So his legacy is very impressive, and again, all this is just connected to thinking big, really, if you think about it. So big thinking is Krishna consciousness, and small-minded thinking is really material consciousness. Next point number 7, is ship first, improve later. And this is very interesting, that it says that perfectionists make terrible entrepreneurs. If you want to be perfect, I think this is Salvador Dali, he's joking that don't be afraid of perfection, it will not happen to you. That you'll never be perfect, right? And entrepreneurs start with whatever they have, even if they have nothing. And Silicon Valley is full of examples of madly successful entrepreneurs who started at their back garage, right? They're multi-billion-dollar businesses from scratch. So you see the example of spiritual entrepreneur in here. He didn't even have back garage. He had not even ruined temple. He had nothing, just literally sitting on the grass in some park, and even Jagannath, just sitting next to him and speaking. Anyone who is familiar with this sound system, this is, it's not even meant for speaking, it's just meant for playing guitar or something. And so he's just using whatever is there to broadcast the message of Krishna consciousness. And because he started without waiting for, perfect conditions or opportunities, and he built his spiritual empire from scratch, and that's why he succeeded. Point number 8, be fine with ambiguity. It's pretty hard when, you plan something and then it's not working out and something else shows up and you don't know what will happen. And Srila Prabhupada, anyone who knows his story of his life, he was in this kind of situation so many times. And if you plan something and it doesn't work out, you plan again, it doesn't work out, again, and it's like you keep failing all the time. It's very easy to become discouraged, is it not? But how not to become discouraged despite of repeated failures? Again, if you think you are the doer, if you think it's my plan, definitely you'll be discouraged. But if you understand, it's all Krishna's plan. Whatever Krishna is doing, it's fine. I'll go along, right? And so this is how Srila Prabhupada succeeded despite of so many obstacles. So point number 9, take calculated risks. Without risking, it's not possible to succeed. If you want to play safe, never leave your comfort zone, you will only degrade. Nothing good will ever happen in your life. And so Srila Prabhupada, we can see he was taking a lot of risk, but it was also thoughtful, very well calculated, right? Going to New York and risking his health, etc. But he was counting on Krishna, but he was clearly calculating. When he was in Butler, Pennsylvania, and he achieved some success, and we were mentioning that he dropped it all, right? And went to New York. Actually, it was his pilot project, Butler, Pennsylvania. And the only reason he spent some time there, he wanted to test and see how Americans are responding to Krishna consciousness. Then he saw, okay, it's positive, time to move on. So he renounced his success in Butler and went ahead to New York. So that was risk, but it was very precisely calculated. And going on the cargo ship all the way to America, that was very risky, and he nearly died a couple of times. Point number 10. Don't worry about consensus. You understand consensus, right? Everyone supports you, everyone cheers you up, everyone says, go ahead, yes, we're behind you. Then it's easy, right, to be a hero when everybody else is behind you. But Srila Prabhupada never had that luxury, right? When he was starting his mission, he tried to get support. He tried to get consensus from his god brothers. He couldn't get it. And he realized, okay, I'll go ahead because I have my guru's instructions. It's Krishna's plan. I am Krishna's servant. My life is dedicated to serving him, so I should do the needful despite of the circumstances. And it's a very typical thing. If you're expecting everyone to support you, if you do something big and risky, people will not want to take that responsibility. They would rather tell you, no, you should not do that. What if? Right? And so, if you expect consensus, you will never be able to do anything big. But if you have the main support from Guru and Krishna, you don't have to worry about anyone else, including devotees sometimes, because Srila Prabhupada was not supported by most of his god brothers. And I think the only clear example of his god brother who was always giving him support was Srila Sridhar Maharaj, right? Otherwise, he hardly had any consensus from his god brothers. Point number 11 is very heavy. Be fine with being criticized. Anyone who has done anything big in life was always criticized. It's like given, right? The only time people are not criticized when they do nothing. If you're just lying there and sleeping, no one will criticize you, right? Unless you're snoring or something. But yeah, I mean, only those who are not doing anything are not criticized. And that's why, because Srila Prabhupada took up such a Herculean task, right? He was heavily criticized, right? So many times. Because his disciples were not as perfect as some of his god brothers wanted them to be. They were immature, and they were behaving in very immature ways in holy places. And so they came to Srila Prabhupada, they said, they were actually yelling and screaming at him. It's one thing if someone makes some kind of derogatory comment about you on Facebook, but it's another thing when someone comes and yells and shouts at you in your face. And with Srila Prabhupada, he had like a whole group of his god brothers who were yelling and screaming at him. And even though they were doing that in Bengali language, but for his disciples who were present, it was not hard to understand what they were yelling about, because they were showing and then saying, Mlechas, Yavanas, whom have you brought in here? And Prabhupada was not arguing. But after they tired of shouting, Prabhupada gave them a minute to calm down. And then he said in English, so that his disciples also understand, he said, I'm only trying to fulfill the instruction of my Guru Maharaj. So it was not defensive, it was very open and very honest, and they could say nothing, because he was actually trying, right? And so, results may not come always perfect, and so they couldn't say anything. But Srila Prabhupada had to put up with that a lot of criticism. But if you wish to achieve something substantial, you have to be ready for that. And point number, he's in India with his disciples, and he had a lot of criticism in India and in the Western countries as well. And 12, and the most important point is actually the original, I kind of tweaked that from the article, because the original point was break rules. Break rules. But actually the goal is to disrupt the status quo. And this is what we mean. Actually, this is the essence of spiritual entrepreneurship. Because in the material world, entrepreneurship means that, say, there is some very large and very arrogant company which is producing some product giving very high price and very low customer satisfaction, right? And everyone suffers, but these guys, they think they're infallible because they're so big. And then some young entrepreneurs come on the scene and they think, no, that, people should be given much better quality of service at much more affordable price. Let us disrupt their status quo, right? And if you think about it in terms of spiritual traditions, that was always happening, right? There are large and very proud and very arrogant religions who claim all fame and who claim, to represent God for everyone, but in fact they are highly corrupt, right? And then some real spiritual leaders come along and they say, no, this is not how God should be represented to people. We'll disrupt those guys. And what's the disruption? The whole Lord Chaitanya's movement started from disrupting caste brahmanas, right? And pseudo-religionists, and giving people real spiritual knowledge and real spiritual practices. And so, yeah, it's all about disruptions. But disruption doesn't mean, even in ISKCON we have some kind of strange people who see some mistakes and discrepancies and they, start criticizing, etc., etc., but they do not offer any positive alternative. They do not offer anything better. Because if you offer something better, 100% guaranteed people will go for that better option, for that param drishtva, right? Higher taste. So, but if you are a spiritual entrepreneur, you would be able to offer people that better, best option. And that will automatically disrupt everyone else who is just claiming the fame, but they're not really doing what they're supposed to be doing. Yes, and yeah, because the original point from the article was to break rules. Yeah, you cannot really disrupt the status quo, and you cannot achieve success without breaking rules. And breaking rules doesn't mean you break scriptural rules. You do not tarnish your, character. But breaking rules means you go against some secondary human-made rules. And so you can see what Srila Prabhupada is doing on this photo. He's actually conducting a bedding ceremony, right? And from purely caste point of view, he's a sannyasi. And what sannyasi should have to be doing with weddings? Should sannyasi conduct wedding ceremony? Sannyasi means completely renounced from all these things, right? Family matters. Why he should be marrying people. And that attracted massive criticism. And Prabhupada laughed and he was saying that, yes, my god brothers, they are calling me matchmaker. What can I do? But my disciples, they need to get married and there is no one else who can do that. So I'm the only one who knows how to conduct the ceremony. So I'm doing that for my disciples and I'm criticized and I'm happy with that. It's okay. So yes. But by making these adjustments, Srila Prabhupada could achieve what no one else could achieve. And so that's why he is the best example for us of spiritual entrepreneur. And I am convinced that all of us should follow in his footsteps and become successful spiritual entrepreneurs ourselves. And one of the things I'm trying to convince the devotees about you cannot use 20th century approach to succeed in 21st century. Of course, it's fine to hit the streets with books, harinams, and prasadam, but 21st century means if you act in countercultured ways, that's not respected. That's not really making you popular at all. And you will not achieve much with that. Yes, 20th century, it was all countercultural revolution, rebel against the status quo, against the establishment, all these things. But, it didn't go anywhere. That hippie movement choked and disintegrated. And you do not see them, they died out from drugs or from so many things. So it's the thing of the 20th century. And 21st century means we need to have completely different approach. And 21st century means if you are not present with your spirituality in a corporate world, you are making no relevance for people. You just remain kind of, obsolete, strange cult from the past, like dinosaurs, okay? These guys, they're doing the same thing they've done in 20th century, they never changed. Okay, the times had changed, but they just got stuck in the past century. And you can see that at the same time, spiritual technology, coming to the first purpose of ISKCON, the techniques of spiritual life, is so popular in the corporate world. People are doing meditation and mindfulness and yoga and everything is so popular. But those who are leading the movement of corporate spirituality, unfortunately, are not Hare Krishnas. Hare Krishnas are just lagging behind the times. And so, my question is, how long will it go on? Because actually the most popular type of spirituality at the workplace is Buddhism, if you look at it. And everyone's glorifying Buddhism, how useful it is, etc. But what is Buddhism offering? What is the ultimate goal of Buddhism? What are they selling? What is their product? It is nothing. Literally. Right? Voidism. They sell nothing at very high price. And what do we have? We have everything. We have divine love. And people are not interested even for free. There must be something really, really, really wrong with us in terms of packaging our product. We have the best product, but the package is of Indian quality. Right? And can we get a little smarter and think how to package Krishna consciousness in such an attractive way that people would run forward to embrace it? And if anyone is really seriously interested in that, we are making a small, humble attempt in that regard, and we've started training courses in Mayapur. These are residential training courses, but only for 2 months. And we call it IDEAL, which stands for Innovative Development to Empower Authentic Leaders. So we're looking for devotees who want to be successful and who want to establish their own successful spiritual social project, which makes you much more money than your current slavery job. and gives people spiritual technology and helps to put Krishna consciousness where it belongs to the very top of people's appreciation. And if you're interested in that, if you think you have a potential to lead your own social spiritual project, run your own spiritual business, we're inviting you to look at what we do. And we're trying to facilitate our students and alumni to the top capacity, even offering scholarships to those who are struggling to cover their residential costs or whatever. And I have promised a surprise, and I think many devotees listened to yesterday's class online also. And this surprise is connected to what we presented and connected to our training courses. Because, first and foremost point is thinking big. And we are encouraging our students in the courses to think really, really big. By the way, we have best available teachers in that 12 very professional Prabhupada disciples and other devotees who are very high on the corporate level. And we're all encouraging our students to think big. And many of them are succeeding. Many of them are doing unbelievable things. But sometimes they think so big that it seems to be unrealistic, completely unrealistic. And after the last year's course, one student came to me and he said, "This is the project I conceived, and this is what I want to do." And when he explained it, I was thinking, no, this is impossible. Because I can't even tell you all the details of it, but it entails working with leading governments in the world and utilizing United Nations systems as a platform. And but then I thought, we want people to think big, so they think big. Okay, let me support him. So I said, okay, let's work together. I can help you. Once we started working, the results started coming, and I've realized, there is nothing for Krishna. There is nothing impossible. We should not think that something is too big. And then, literally, next day, one American devotee comes to me and he says, "I have a gift for you. I brought this gift all the way from America to Mayapur to give it to you." And I said, "What is the gift?" And he said, "It's Prabhupada's personal sweater." And I just couldn't believe it. And I was so shocked, I didn't even know what to say. He said, "I'll bring it to you." So he brought me, he said, "Here you go." I just couldn't believe it. And I said, "Why are you giving this to me?" I said, He said, "I just wanted to give it to you, that's all." No reason, even though he knows so many senior Vaishnavas in ISKCON and we hardly know each other. So that was a shocker. And when I looked at its cardigan, right, sweater with buttons, when I looked at it, it was female cardigan. So I'm thinking, no, this is a joke. Prabhupada could not wear that. So I told one devotee about it, and he said, "It's very easy to check. Just look through Prabhupada's pictures. If he is wearing that same cardigan on the picture, you will know for sure it's his relic." So I spent a long time looking through all the pictures of Prabhupada. There are plenty of them, more than 11,000 on Krishna.com. I spent 3 days, but I found 4 photos of Srila Prabhupada from very early years of him wearing that cardigan. And it was female cardigan. And I think Krishna just arranged it in such a way that I would have zero doubts. It's very, very obvious that it's not similar thing, it is the item. And these pictures come from very early years, made by Gurudas Prabhu in 69 in London. And in 72, I also checked with Shrutakirti Prabhu. He said, yes, Prabhupada was wearing that cardigan when I started serving him in 72. So not only this is personal item of Srila Prabhupada, but he was wearing it for very, very long time, many years. And the best thing of all is that the very same cardigan is here now. And you have an opportunity to come in touch with, because personal belonging to Srila Prabhupada is non different from him. You have the opportunity to get in touch with this cardigan. And I also brought these photos. So you could check it out yourself. You don't have to believe me. And it's not photoshopped. And so we have 12 minutes left. I tried to time it out, make sure that I don't disrupt temple program. And so I think we can spend 12 minutes in coming in touch with Srila Prabhupada's cardigan. And then if you have questions, comments, and especially if you are interested to take a training from our courses and become bright example of successful spiritual entrepreneur and light the path for the other devotees, that's something I'm very interested in, and I can share more information with you on that. Okay, maybe we can answer a couple of questions, and then we'll move on to give you this special darshan.
Maharaj, you said that you cannot use 20th century approach in 21st century. So I was wondering how to reconcile that statement, how to understand that statement. When Prabhupada wrote a poem to Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj and he said that old wine in new bottle, how to reconcile this statement
exactly.
with that?
This is what we mean, old wine in a new bottle. New bottle means you have to present it in a very good package, in a very nice package. And this is what Srila Prabhupada did. He changed so many packages. He changed things from how they were done at Gaudiya Math to fit into the Western world, to be relevant for Western people as much as possible. And as he admitted, he was experimenting how people will accept, whether this will work or that will work. And so we should do the same thing. Change the package. Holy name never changes. The fact that Krishna is the Supreme Lord never changes. Prasadam never changes. Philosophy explained in Prabhupada books never changes, right? But change the package and change the strategy. Like I was thinking that, we are known for very aggressive strategies, oftentimes. And does it really work so well? I mean, even if you give the best thing in the world, like if you like cakes, which I'm sure most of you are, and just think of your favorite cake and think of me running behind you with big piece of cake to shovel that into your mouth, right? And after that experience, you'll probably never want to see that favorite cake again in your lifetime. So it's very important for us to look at the models, how things work, what is successful, what is not successful, and learn from that. Do things in a smart way rather than doing things in a hard way. Okay, thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for this lecture. It's really cool. Would you mind elaborating a little bit more on, so you said that in the corporate world, the most popular spirituality is Buddhism.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate a little bit on not necessarily how they're packaging it, but the individuals that are distributing it, what form are they coming in? Like what certifies them to share it?
Yeah, I mean, it's very easy to check out, and it's happening right here at the Silicon Valley, that Google and many other famous corporate programs, they use, they have corporate mindfulness, meditation, etc., and it's all done by Buddhist professionals because they manage to package it in such an appealing way and practical way, right? And so, yeah, unfortunately, our packages are not very relevant for people, and that's why we're not really so popular as them. Yes.
But I mean, are they like, oh, I'm a PhD, or is it like, oh, I'm a yoga teacher? Like, what is it that allows them to take that stage in order to get into a corporate sphere?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, and I actually just started researching into that, and I would invite you to also look into it and see what are the models they are using.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, this is a very amazing and inspiring lecture for me, at least.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It opens insights, and something like this in the corporate world, they would have charged $200 an hour probably. Yeah. Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you.
Maharaj, just a thought and needed advice. I observed that, when I was thinking a lot about internet preaching, and not internet preaching, but presence on internet. When we try to distribute Bhagavad Gita, a lot of people say, oh, we go on YouTube, or, I don't read, and things like that. And I always felt maybe, having more presence, not that cribbing and criticizing presence, but preaching. I've seen that, some of our own devotees in the movement have millions of followers, but I also observe, this is just my personal observation, that in order to get a large follow-ups, the focus is a lot on things like mindfulness, or, general well-being, or yoga, limited to that, rather than the crux, which is bhakti, come to the point.
Yeah.
And I've heard that Prabhupada always said that I'm not going to, I could have had millions of followers, but I'm happy with this 4,000, 5,000, but I'm not going to, Now, where do we balance? Because you can get big numbers, but go on preaching, mindfulness.
Yeah.
But that doesn't go beyond good health or peace of mind.
Yeah.
So, some more thoughts on that.
Yeah, we kind of related to that at our Saturday morning class, but probably not many people listen to that. So, it's like quantity versus quality, but we can understand if high quality is there, then quantity will automatically come. And so it's important for us to understand that Prabhupada's analogy that not many people will become devotees, because it's like selling diamonds, and not many people will buy diamonds, right? But the important point in this analogy is that, yes, it is true, not many people will afford buying diamonds in the same way as not many people can afford becoming full-time devotees, 16 rounds, 4 regulative principles, early morning, service, and so many other things. Read all Prabhupada's books. When you finish, start it all over again. It's like unattainably high standards for most of the people, right? So they don't have the currency, the seriousness to pay for becoming fully Krishna conscious. But in that analogy, it's very important to understand that even though few people can afford diamonds, everyone appreciates diamonds, understands their value without tinge of a doubt. So this is what we want. Yes, not many people will be able to fully embrace Krishna consciousness, but we want people to say, as I gave the example of Minister of Home Affairs from Italy, he made that very short video clip of devotees doing Harinam, and he said on the video that these are the best people I know, and if I would have to take birth again, I would want to be a Hare Krishna, right? And 500,000 people watched it in 3 days. And I think now it's well over 1 million. So this is what Prabhupada wanted. Yes, strictly following, not many people will do, and we can see that it's not happening even in our movement. So many come, so many go, not many are serious, but we want everyone to have top level of appreciation for the devotees. This is what we want to achieve. We want people to say, yes, these people are making the biggest difference in our lives. We need Hare Krishnas. Without them, we cannot exist. We see no point in living. This is what we want. Right? Yes, I am not serious enough, I'm not strong enough to be like that, but, you know, I appreciate these guys so much, and even little bit of what I can do, you know, from them, I'm very happy with. Okay, so we'll finish here, and yes, for those who might be interested in our school training, please take a note of our website address, which is 108 Pro, P-R-O, stands for professionals, right? 108pro.com. 108pro.com. And yeah, my email address, if you're interested to connect me on that, is my initials, Bhakti Rasayana Sagar Swami, BRSS. It's like brass without A, BRSS108@gmail.com. Easy to remember. All right, so thank you very much. It was a great pleasure of presenting this subject to you, and it's even greater pleasure to give you the opportunity to come in touch with Srila Prabhupada personally and directly right now. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hare Krishna.